said it's Friday. It's Drama Friday. If you did follow Twitter, you know I had some days off because I was not well. I'm still not well, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. If I have to pause the stream by muting the audio to cough in a horrible, horrible way, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. It's just babies make me ill. They're horrible things. They're disease carriers. They're creatures of death. Horrid. Also, we're going to have a slightly shorter, not overly short though, Drama Friday, because tonight we're going to be playing a lot of Titanfall. Me and the team are going to be rocking the Titanfall. There's going to be a multi-stream going on. We're going to have me, we're going to have Ghosty, we're going to have Delore and all the other guys jumping in. Can't have private games yet, which is kind of annoying. So we'll get as many people in as we can. Just generally climb inside Titans and shoot people in the face, Call of Duty style. That's what I'm planning to do with my Friday evening. I hope you're looking forward to it as well. So sorry it was a bit quiet on the channel. It wasn't that quiet, but I couldn't really speak. I couldn't get through it. I've downed a lot of cough syrup, so we're going to be all right. I'm drenched in cough syrup, so we're going to be fine. As I was telling the chat before I started, I'm getting a lot of lie stories recently. I like a bit of exaggeration in your drama stories. I do. I like it when you take some creative license with what I'm talking about. But if it goes too far, it just gets weird. It gets really creepy. And then I get upset because I don't know what to do with it. And I don't want to embarrass anybody, but it does get creepy. It gets creepy real fast. And then it goes into a whole strange place. It's like when you YouTube search. You search for something normal, and before you know it, you're balls deep in PewDiePie, and you don't know how you got there. You don't know how you got there. You were searching for something relatively normal, and suddenly you're just balls deep. You're caked in shit, and you don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. You don't know how you got there. But you're there. And that's what it's like when you take some creative license with some of your drama stories. Just need to be a little bit careful. I prepared 2 stories for us today. One is a shorter story that's going to warm us up about how jokes can go wrong. Because one of the problems we have as a teenager, especially who was brought up on the internet, right, is sometimes we're not completely sure when we should stop with the joke. And it goes a little bit far, and then you think, fuck, I done goofed. I done goofed right up. I fucked it. It's gone bad. And me and my friends should have stopped, but we didn't. We carried on. And it's no longer a joke now because the police are involved. And when that happens, you fucked up. You done fucked up. And the other story is a nice long one with a tale of just being generally an asshole. And there's nothing I love more. The basis of Drama Friday wasn't RP or anything like that. It was people who were complete assholes. And then telling the story because you're no longer an asshole. We hope. We hope. But we all do things that kind of goof us up every now and again. They always goof us up every now and again. Yeah, you done goofed. So, let's start with the shorter one to warm us up. Now we have some friends. Now it's a shorter story, so we'll pick some people. Okay, who should we have? We'll have Mr. Tadden. Tadden can be in this one. Mr. Tadden. Athedron, you can be in. Athedron can be in there. And, who else? Ramez! Yeah, we saw Ramez earlier. Mr. Ramez. Ramez can be in there as well. Okay. As I said, sometimes our jokes just get fucked up, don't they? Our jokes go a little bit pear-shaped. I'll pick people properly for the next story. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of people in that one. Here we go. This story is called The Day a Bit of GM Trolling Backfired Greatly in Real Life. Yeah, a little bit of trolling. We were trolling, which generally now just means being a dick, doesn't it? It means being a horrible bastard. Is what trolling didn't used to mean that. Trolling just generally was winding someone up in a gentle but hilarious fashion. Most people now think trolling is just being a horrible bastard. And that's funny to nobody. Ever. It's just fucking sad. Sad as shit. Hello, Bridget. A good day to you. I hope all is well. We're doing as well as we can be. Doing as well as we can be. I thought I'd share a short, unlikely, but true story that happened to me and some of my friends while playing WoW a few years ago. The story surrounds 3 of my friends. Mr. Thaden, Mr. Athedron, and Ramiz. As well as myself, of course. Sorry for any typos and grammar. English is not my native language. Me and several of my friends from school started playing WoW in late vanilla. We're just a bunch of 14-year-old Danish boys. The Danish. Bringing it. Having a good time playing the game on a pretty casual level. By the time TBC was released, we were psyched and had already planned a week-long LAN party at my friend Thadden's house, whose parents foolishly agreed to let us have the house. You know, I know about computer stuff. My son is never having a LAN party at my house. Ever. Like, ever. I'm sorry, if you're looking back at this, like, let's say it's like, I don't know, 60 years or something from now, and I'm toast and tea cakes, and you're like, I'm going to watch my dad back when he was doing that YouTube thing, son. Never having a LAN party. Ever. I knew now, before you were old enough to know what a LAN party was, ain't happening. You know why? Because fuck sweaty teenagers all over my gaff. Not happening. Just putting it out there now, son. Just letting you know. We attended the disappointing release event in Copenhagen. Is anybody there? Is anybody there for the release event in Copenhagen? Oh, I bet that was awesome. Picked up our copies. Yes, back then when we still bought games on discs. Hey, I did it. Me and Ghosty were there for the TBC launch event. I caught the first bus back to Thadden's place to get stuff. You're such geeks. Oh, no. The 14-year-olds at midnight in Copenhagen getting the bus home. Yeah. I know what you were like. You were the guys I didn't want to talk to in the line to pick up my TBC copy with Ghosty. Right? Because they were everywhere. You guys, you little 14-year-olds, getting the bus home. Weren't going to be playing till like 5 a.m. because you had to get home and install and all that shit. Oh my god. I'm not even speaking to you. If that's Ghosty, fuck you, man. Made me turn my goddamn phone on. Bad times, man. That TBC. We caught the first bus back. We had all agreed that we would continue playing Horde, and we all wanted to try the sparkly new Blood Elf race. Sadly, so did the entire server, and we quickly found ourselves grouping up to just try and tag mobs in the pointy-eared chaos. A few days of almost non-stop gaming, sleeping on our keyboards and disregarding things like basic hygiene, this is why no LAN, we're still only around level 27. You fucking losers. Fucking losers. Me and Ghosty were rocking level 40 after the first day or so. We were kicking ass. And people were starting to get impatient. The guild was relying on you. Ramez was the first to hop back on his level 60 undead mage and travel through the dark portal to see the exciting new Outlands. Of course he did. He gave up a week at level 27. Fuck off. I'm going to go try this new content I've been waiting a year for. A tedious day and a bit of sleep later, we were around level 30. And the leveling motivation was at an all-time low. Leveling was a lot slower back in the day, and by level 30 you were still running around on foot. STV is pretty damn big on foot. Ramez, by now, had gathered all sorts of amazing new Outlands leveling gear. That's got to be the worst, right? That's got to be the worst. Is you really want to stick to this brand new Blood Elf? Probably a Paladin. You're probably rolling Blood Elf Paladins. And this whole new world's waiting for you. And your friend's given up. He was the first to buy it. And now he's linking you stuff that is way more powerful than anything you had in vanilla. Like, anything. The green he's got shits all over AQ40 loot. And you guys, you 14-year-olds in Copenhagen with your discs, yeah? You never even got to MC, did you? You didn't. You didn't. You never even got a Corehound tooth. Little Corehound tooth to get one. And now this guy, Ramez, is linking you all this shit. And you're level 27 in STV on foot. Right? That's got to be worse. It's so much worse. Leveling was too slow. He'd now gathered all sorts of amazing new Outlands leveling gear and was having a blast. So naturally we started whining for him to boost us through Scarlet Monastery and Cathedral. I'm sure he really wanted to do that. Desperately. Which in his new TBC tuned gear was no problem for a Frost Mage. Yeah, you needed the TBC gear for that. Unfortunately, Ramez had to leave the land 2 days early as he had some family dinner he had to attend. Liar. And so he made a classic mistake for a WoW player 15 years old. He left us his account details so he could continue using his mage for boosting. Ramez, what the hell is wrong with you? You're leaving these geeks, right? I'm not being funny, but you were the cool one, right? Ramez, between me and you were the cool one. You're the one who decided this leveling shit is just bollocks. I'm not doing it. And you left your account with them. On top of that, you weren't actually lying about leaving for a family dinner. Right? That's the excuse you'll do to go home and have a bath and a shower and continue playing on your own. That's why you make that excuse. Okay? You don't make that excuse when you actually have to leave for a family dinner. You don't do that. You make that excuse so you can get the fuck out and go get clean. Bad. Thadden took over the mage, and I had his alt of followers who spent a whole day clearing Scarlet instances. A boredom combined with lack of sleep and diet consisting purely of crisps meant we started looking for anything that could distract us from what we were doing. What could we do? Thadden decided that it would be adequate distraction and entertainment to randomly contact a GM. So he did. Now, GM isn't Guildmaster. Alright? I won't even give my email to my wife. Wow, Ramez is legit. So it's not a guild master, it's a game GM. Once the GM replied, he just started small talking, which eventually led to him whining about the endless grind we were on. This is him whining. Demanding that we should all get instantly dinged to level 70, or we would all unsubscribe straight away. Yeah. The GM took it pretty well, and basically explained that we should just suck it up and level like everyone else. But Thadden, being a bit of a strange mood from not sleeping or showering for a week, started taking it in a more sinister direction. So, this is about to go horribly wrong. When you're talking to a Blizzard GM, I can't imagine they're allowed to take certain things, you know, lightly. Or in a joking way. Even though you do sound like petulant kids contacting a GM for instant boost to level 70. Where did we go? What path are we about to travel? He basically wrote, this is Thadden, I hope you're listening, Thadden, what you said. He basically wrote that he was a struggling and depressed teenager who would kill himself if the GM did not grant us levels. Oh, Thadden. You told the GM of Blizz that you were going to commit suicide if he didn't grant you level 70. That's hilarious. I mean, there's some jokes, right? There's some jokes that one can tell sometimes to some people, and they will understand that it's a joke. But then you just went the wrong way. Isn't it hilarious? Oh, dude, I'm totally going to kill myself if you don't give me level 70. Yeah. Okay. The GM's tone suddenly got very serious. Surprisingly. Although looking back, he clearly wasn't the brightest, I don't think you should be blaming the GM here. Probably rules. He started trying to comfort Thadden, as if he suddenly held a degree in psychology. Needless to say, the trolling was on. Oh, this is a good opportunity. That's what 15-year-old you thinks. This guy really believes I'm going to kill myself. All right. Yes. Woohoo. We've got him. No. Oh, God. Oh. We rubbed our little teenage hands as we conjured up a collection of phrases worthy of being lyrics to a My Chemical Romance song. Things like, I am spiraling down into a deep abyss of my own dark feelings and thoughts. Ha 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 ha. Oh, the laughs we had. The joy we shared. I tell you, it was hilarious. It was the best thing I'd ever done. We threw them at the GM. He seemed to be taking it all very seriously. We didn't get it. He seemed to be taking it all very, very seriously. Looking back at Thadden, was going through a bit of a tough patch in his life. So all I'm reading here is that you actually started to believe these words as well. So perhaps the things he wrote were legit enough and therefore convincing. Perhaps he is trying to kill himself. Didn't this story get odd very quickly? This is all fun and games for you, but now you're starting to believe the guy who's supposedly joking about suicide. Yeah. Either way, by the by, in a glorious apex of dramatic trolling, he suddenly logged out, leaving the worried GM mid-conversation. No, that's how you put it. That's how you put the full stop on it, isn't it? If you're in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? If you're in Dawson's Creek, that's how this joke ends. Okay? Alright? If you're in like some Family Feud, that's how it happens. We really didn't think much about it. We really didn't think much about it that they'd actually been on Rames's account to do the boosting all along. And so while we laughed, he logged back in his ult and continued to level. So not only did he do that, not only did that happen, you did it on someone else's account. Right? Yeah. Did it on someone else's account. Right? Being a teenager is fun, am I right? Am I right? Them hormones be running wild. Hormones be running wild. Well, a few hours later, all hell broke loose. The house phone rang and the line was a very tired sounding Rames. He told us how during their family dinner that someone had knocked on the door and 2 Danish police officers. They explained to his parents that they had been contacted by a company called Blizzard Entertainment from France, claiming that a person living at this address could be in danger of suicide. Best joke. There is nothing better than police officers turning up at your home when you're 15 and telling your parents that somebody there who plays computer games might be trying to commit suicide. It's amazing. It's the best joke in the world. Oh. Although they had considered it a bit far-fetched, they explain how they had no choice but to check up on him. It is kind of funny though. A little bit. It is a little bit funny. You're not gonna forget. Never forget, right? Never forget. Naturally, his parents were a little bit pissed that they found out what we had done. Oh no, he totally scumbagged you in. They didn't think because their son was so happy. Rames was fucking rocking that dinner. There is no way Rames has committed suicide. They were on his side from the start. Good guy parents are like, who the fuck has done this to you, Rames? They didn't go, dude, are you trying to commit suicide? They switched that shit up and went, stop giving fucking suicide. Who's done this? Oh, it's dipshit Taddon and his friend Athedron. Those 2 fucking dipshits who I told you not to hang around with, right? Those 2 fucking dipshits. Nice. Got you. Best parents in the world. But we all got picked up, and I can't speak to the others as we got shouted at. But my parents didn't see anything funny about it at all. They didn't get the joke. All of his parents didn't get the joke. We were all forbidden to play WoW for at least 6 months, and Rames's parents weren't keen on him gaming or even hanging out with us for a long time afterwards. Can't blame them. Our TBC launch LAN fun had cost us not only a year of gaming, but we also now had parents who were skeptical and suspicious of anything we did online. My mother was suddenly very interested in the games I played. No Grand Theft Auto 5 for you. No Grand Theft Auto 5 for you. It's gone. Leisure Suit Larry? Not a chance. You're not rocking Leisure Suit Larry no more. It's gone. You had your chance. You blew it. You blew it. It's Perfect World for you. Perfect World. That's what you've got to play. Perfect World. Farmville and Perfect World. That's where you belong now. With the rest of your little Danish friends. That's where you belong. Not exactly the ideal situation for a 15-year-old. Oh, she was checking your porn out too? Dude, my mom keeps checking my search history. The bane of any 15-year-old. We all laugh about it now, and so do our parents, but at the time, they didn't find it very funny. In the meantime, we've all started playing WoW again. Woohoo! In Warlords of Draenor. But I think we're a bit more cautious and responsible towards GMs now. Yes. Yes, you should be. I know. Maybe just leave the suicide jokes on the side for now, right? Maybe if you can't drop it. Maybe if you can't drop that noise. Maybe you leave that one to the side for now, right? You can get that joke in elsewhere. It'll be okay. Oh, good God. Ah! Okay. Okay. This story, right? The story, when you submit to Drama... Alright, come on, guys. Ladies and gents. When you submit to Drama Friday, it's completely anonymous, right? As best as I can make it. Unless your story is very well known. Like, situation for situation. To people you know watch this, but there are a lot of people who watch this. So maybe it's somebody, you can't help it. Asking me to delete the email after I read the story doesn't save you much, right? It doesn't help. Not everybody here gets to go through my email. That's all I'm going to say, right? That's all I'm going to say. Hi, Preacher! No need to worry about character names. No one in particular is mentioned. Please delete this email, though, as I'm incriminating myself pretty hard with this one. Lol. I'm actually decent at the game now and really don't want to get my account banned. This message will self-destruct. I know, right? This message will self-destruct. Totally. Okay, well, I'm reading it then. If you're going to challenge me to a deletion of email, I'm reading the story. I'm reading it. Alright, there's plenty of people coming up, but they're randomly scattered throughout it, so don't... I'll pick people as we go. The Setup, Part 1. The Setup. Oh, we're only at past. Alright, I promised myself a 30-minute Drama Friday. Fucked that right up. We're going to be alright. My story begins towards the end of my hardcore raiding career in WoW. I began playing in the Burning Crusade and started raiding in high-end guilds throughout Wrath of the Lich King. Having watched many of your Drama Fridays and Storytime videos, I can tell you, I've done many of the awful things you and others have done to climb the ladder to hardcore raiding. I've used guilds to hop higher, stolen gear, used my ego to get me high positions in guilds that I had no intention of staying in, and the list goes on. I never intentionally fucked over any one person. I'm typically a very nice guy. Many of the people I used were my in-game friends, and I truly consider them friends. I just also happened to manipulating them to get where I wanted to go. Sociopathic is what we call that. So these are my friends that I manipulate to get whatever I want. And I truly do consider you a friend, although I am using you to get everything I want, right? Don't think we're not friends, though, is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Is don't think we're not friends. The promise of going from noob to server first in less than a year drove me to do things I would never do in real life. It seemed natural to me. I didn't see any way to move up without taking advantage of people. It never occurred to me that I could just get better at the game and that would be enough. I needed loots. Wrath was the time of the gear score, and it was very popular on my server as the add-on author was a GM of a guild on my server. I hate to admit it, but I was very driven by gear score, and I pushed far too hard to make it bigger. That line though, I pushed far too hard to make it bigger. Boom, son. Boom. I climbed the ranks all the way to a server-first competing guild. I did everything I could to be as involved with raiding as possible. Changed my available work hours. Gave up on RL friends. I totally lost focus on my life and gave everything to World of Warcraft. It was fun. However, I had to climb the ladder too quickly. Using guild hopping and ninja looting to rocket myself to the top, I never actually got any better at the game. Because my app to the guild looked so spectacular, it wasn't hard to get in. But once I started raiding hardcore ICC, it became clear to both of them and myself that I wasn't quality material. My time in the guild ended with an argument about having to raid on the PTR. It wasn't something I was willing to do, because I'd already spent so much time raiding normally. This was the catalyst they needed to tell me I was a worthless piece of shit and kick me from the guild. This was rock bottom for me. I had burned every bridge on the server in my climb to the top. I had no chance of joining another high-end guild, as the one I was kicked from warned guilds. I was banished. Even in the time of Wrath of the Lich King, where a player's presence on the server had become far more anonymous than in TBC or Vanilla, due to a cross-server crap and LFG, I had a hell of a reputation. Every pug I joined knew who I was. Every guild I applied to knew my name. I was infamous. I wasn't happy about it. Time to change servers. So we got a dick on our hands. We got a classic guild hopping dick shit. It happens. We get guys. Remember, hey, You want to know what this guy is? You want to know who he is? He's the guy who applied to your guild with a Shadowmon. Do you know who I mean? He's the guy who applied to your guild with a Dragon Wrath. Or was about to complete his Dragon Wrath. You know who you are, don't you? You know who you are. I'm looking at you. You applied to a guild because you've almost finished your Dragon Wrath. Because you've almost finished your Shadowmon. That's you. We know who you are. No life suck fest. Rogue or reroll DK, you guessing? Around the time all this was happening, I had met a new RL friend at work, and he was far better at WoW than I was. He had participated in many server firsts on a far better server, and I decided that's where I should go. There wasn't room for me in his guild, so I started applying. A few weeks in, I found a new guild to raid hard modes with. My raiding experience and gear allowed me to nab a spot. Whistles innocently. Smurf. Smurf. Guilty. Guilty Smurf. In a top 10 server guild. I decided to leave my Resto Shaman behind on my old server and revive my DK as a tank. Well done, friends. Well done, friends. Of course he's going DK. Boom, under cover of darkness. I'm now going to be a blood DK. I had never raided tanks before in my entire life. And this guild was finishing up normals and moving on to hard modes in 4.0. I hadn't seen the new kata bosses either. The odds were not in my favour. I was in a new guild, new spec, and an old class that I wasn't used to, on a new server, in a new raid. Not to mention the fact that I was still really bad at the game. So obvious. So obvious. He's going DK tank. Ugh! The safety net of every player. At first they went pretty easy on me. I had made it very clear before I was even accepted into the guild that I was new to tanking and that I would need time to adjust. You joined a really bad guild. If part of your guild application as a new tank to a guild is I haven't tanked before and they say yes, you're going to have a bad time, right? Members of that guild, if you see an application for the new guild tank and the application says he hasn't tanked properly before and he gets accepted, time to leave the guild. It's all I'm telling you, right? Get the fuck out of there. The first few weeks, they were relatively helpful. I caused wipes. But not nearly as many as I figured I would. The entire time, I was terrified. I still had my tail between my legs because of my recent experience, and I no longer felt like the big-headed badass I once did. I went into this guild with a new, positive attitude. I wanted to raid and push progression, but I wanted to be modest about it. I want to be hardcore, but modest at the same time. I had learned my lesson and was ready to do things right. However, as time went on, I wasn't getting any better at the game. That's a bummer, right? It's a bummer. I'm not getting any better. I wasn't causing wipes nearly as often. How many fucking wipes were you causing in Kata as a tank? What fight could you cause a tank on? Cause a wipe on? Chimeron? Maybe? Maloriac? Possibly? I don't know. Not that many. But I still always had questions before a pull. Oh my god. After weeks, where do we tank? What does this boss do again? I know it's been a few weeks, guys, but am I tanking here? Or can you just imagine as the fucking raid's like, oh, Jesus Christ. The guild did not seem to have time for my questions. I could tell there were rumblings about me, but no one said anything. The people I dealt with directly, such as officers and spec leaders, were very, very short with me. They had a, how do you not know this attitude? How do you not know this attitude? I like that. I like that idea. I have a how do you not know this attitude. It's a t-shirt for BlizzCon. If you go into BlizzCon, we'll get some t-shirts which just say, how do you not know this? Right? And that's all it'll say. And if people ask, what does that mean? You say, this is for you. Anybody who asks what the t-shirt means, you just go, this t-shirt is for you, right? How do you not know this? If you don't know this, that's because you're asking that question, motherfucker. And that's how we'll roll as a team. That's how we'll do it. Jesus. It wasn't helping me. I put a lot of effort into the guild. Did you? Did you? Did you put a lot of effort in? I worked hard to spend extra hours farming for the guild bank. You're that guy who's terrible, who farms herbs, who's like, let me in the fucking raid. I got you all this shit. I got you all this shit. I'm so worth a raid spot. I've made potions. I fished for you. I gave you everything. Everything. I've had no fun all week. I've just been farming herbs and fishing. Let me raid, please. I'm so worth it. Come on. I really invested. I was still shaken from what happened previously, and all I wanted was to legitimately earn a spot in a serious guild. Alas, eventually some members started treating me like shit. What once was fun to my subpar ability slowly became animosity. I began receiving negative comments and slurs were spat at me in almost every raid. The other trouble that I ran into was that this guild ran a loot council. It soon became clear that the only purples I would get my hands on were garbage that no one needed. Oh, you're tearing me apart. Yeah. Part 3, though. Revenge. Don't piss off a newbie. He farmed for you, right? You owe him something. You owe him a little epic every now and again. Throw a dog a bone, right? You might not have asked him to chew up your slippers, but he did. Now he needs a little reward, right? Because he did it out of love. He did it out of love. I mentioned the loot council. It's very important. There wasn't any set council in this guild. It was actually the closest thing I've ever seen to a fair loot system. It worked very well. Essentially, every week at the beginning of the lockout, everyone in the raid would get to vote for which council volunteer they wanted. So volunteers would elect themselves by saying, I'll do it, and then everyone else would vote on who they wanted the loot council that week. That just sounds like people vote for their friends, knowing that their particular piece of loot is likely to drop this week. So, if you don't know what I mean, suppose you're a priest, and the only thing you're missing is the priest's shoulders, but somebody else is in line for the token. So you vote for the guy who's going to get that piece of loot quicker that week, and then when it comes to your turn for the token, when you're next in line, you then vote for the guy who's going to loot it to you because he's your friend. That doesn't sound like a particular fair system to me. I've abused it in like 3 seconds flat. You can play that system so hard. I'll vote Ghosty on the week when it's my turn to get a two-handed weapon, right? I'll vote for it that week. I'll vote for Ghosty that week. I'm totally voting for Ghosty. At this point, after the voting, the top 3 voters would be promoted to officer for the week and be able to use officer chat to loot. Ooh! Loot council gets to use officer chat. Boom. So cool. When I realised that people were promoted for the week, the wheels began to turn. By this point, I had been degraded and treated like shit by everyone that mattered in the guild. I was mad. I had given everything. You actually said I had given everything. Don't make me laugh, man. I had given everything. I gave you everything. I had to turn my WoW career around and do things right. I worked extra hard all the time just to benefit the guild and show my resolve. However, nothing I did helped to quell the rude whispers per loot. Look at all the herbs. Look at them. Enchanting crystals. Disenchanted everything for you and gave you all my dust. You fucks. In my mind, none of these people deserved anything good from me. They pushed me in the sand, kicked my face in the dirt, despite my efforts to help and to get better. It's time to return the favour. For weeks, I quietly sat back and offered to loot council. Every week I volunteered. Others got voted instead of me. You were permanently the last kid to get picked at football. My God. It was fine. I knew my time would come. One fateful Tuesday night, I volunteered for the council. And only one other did as well. By default, I got the position. Default, default, default. Hey, hey. If nobody else can be asked being on the Loot Council, everybody has everything they need. Like, that is where you are. If no one can even be asked to be on the Loot Council anymore, they have everything they want. It's like, I don't give a shit who's on the Loot Council. I couldn't care. I have everything. There's nothing more that I want. But still, I'm sure your plan's going to be dastardly. I got the position and was thusly promoted to officer. My heart clenched. That has to be painful. I knew I only had one chance for what you might ask. The bank heist. The raid went as normal and I waited for a couple of days. Sometime towards the end of the week I prepared. I logged in very late at night, something like 4 AM. There were very few members online, none that mattered. I was in the clear. No officers, no GM, and a guild bank with hundreds of thousands of golds and items. The daily gold limit was set to 50,000 and unlimited access to item tabs. There I went. The info log cascaded with my name withdrew X. My heart was pounding. I clicked as fast as I could. I filled my bags, then filled my bank, then filled my bag once more. I stole so many things that I had to start mailing items to alts, even though my main had a bank full of large bags. I had done it. The bank was virtually empty, and I hadn't been caught yet. Instantly, I tabbed out and server changed my main and primary alt that had many of the items. In the course of the next 10 minutes or so, I had gone from innocent to full-blown thief on another server. It doesn't end there. You'll be glad to know. My voice is dying, but we're going to be alright. The next day, I logged into an alt still on the server and was met with a smattering of "What the fucks? And you suck so fucking noobs!" I laughed at them. I told them to fuck off and learn their lesson. I was off to enjoy my riches. Hours later, BAM! I had been permabanned. Ha! Yeah! Thank God! You dick! You fucking a-hole! Thank God! Permabanned! My account had been flagged and banned because I had been reported by up to 30 players at once. I called Blizz. Hello? My account seems to have been banned. I'm not sure why. I was informed that my account had been banned because it was used to steal from a guild bank and the server transfers were initiated. I was then told that it seems my account was hacked. I happily agreed and inquired on how to fix the problem. You see, Blizzard's not that stupid. Of course, guild bank theft occurs. However, they have certain flags when people suddenly rob guild banks get reported and characters are put up for server transfers. This is true. That's right. My instant server transfer after the theft flagged my account as being hacked. Not only that, you told the Blizzard person that yes, your account had been hacked. You agreed with the Blizzard. You agreed with the Blizzard, the almighty Blizzard. I was offered two options. I could restore my characters to a few hours before the event, i.e. stay on the old server with none of the stolen items and pretend it never happened, or I could pay the customer server rep for the server change over the phone and keep everything as planned. Obviously, I paid the man and happily logged into my unbanned account to find all my riches intact. My main on the new server. I had gotten away with murder, and it felt amazing. I realised that I shouldn't have, but I didn't care. I had won. It didn't take much longer for me to blow all that gold and stupid things and quit the game a patch later. I play off and on now casually, but I'll never forget my experiences of trying to be the top while sucking the whole time. Thank you for reading. You see, if you can convince the Blizz that it's all good and you had access, you can do it. Especially if you pay for the transfers. Oh, he's a bad person. I know, right? That's one of those stories where I'm bound to get emails saying, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did that, preacher. You're a horrible, horrible person, Preacher. You're terrible. Get out of here, buddy. But that's always my dramas are. Oh, this guy. This guy. He makes me feel so sad. He makes me feel so sad. That does bring us to the end of Drama Friday. A little bit longer than I anticipated, but still not as long as normal. So, a happy medium by all. My good lady is here to interrupt me, which is awesome.
What about Max?
What about Max? Come here then. I will be back in about an hour or so. Oh! I never allowed a LAN party. Blah. So ginger right now. I'll be back in about an hour or so because we're going to be streaming some Titanfall with the guys and hopefully some of you guys. If you got Titanfall or you just want to chill out and talk to me, I'll generally just be chit-chatting all the way through it because I'm not very good at shooting people, but I'll try. If so, I'll see you then. Bye, everybody! Ooh, I can't even find my mouse. My mouse is gone. See you guys. I'll see you in a couple of hours.